And we're going to start with what we call a section through a house. And a section means that it's like we've taken a chainsaw and we've cut right through the house, and we've cut right down through the window, through the center of the window, and cut all the way down through the foundation. And we're looking at the edge, this raw edge that we've cut with a chainsaw. Let's look at what we have. Starting off here down in the ground, we have the footing. So this is the footing, and the footing is a foot that the foundation wall sits on. And the footing transfers the weight of the building to the ground. Then we have the foundation wall. And the foundation wall is usually made of concrete or concrete block or a masonry wall. And it can be a vented foundation wall with a crawl space, or it can be an unvented foundation wall with a crawl space, or it can be an unvented foundation wall with a basement. Here we have the ground and the ground moisture barrier. And the ground moisture barrier is a piece of plastic that protects the house from moisture coming up through the ground. That's the ground moisture barrier, a very important element of any home. A lot of homes don't have ground moisture barriers, but almost every home should have a ground moisture barrier if it has a crawl space. Here at the top of the foundation wall, we should have some type of capillary break, some type of weather-resistant barrier between the foundation wall and the mud sill. The mud sill is the first piece of wood that we lay on the foundation wall. And the floor is built on top of the mud sill. And the weight of the floor is transferred through the mud sill to the foundation. Now, sometimes there is a termite barrier right here. If you live in an area where there's termites, this is where you would want to stop the termites. Going up, we've got the mud sill, we've got the rim joist or band joist. Is the joist that goes all the way around the perimeter of the building. That's the rim joist or the band joist. Then the joists in between are the floor joists. Then on top of the joists, we have what's called the subfloor. And the subfloor is the structural floor material. There's usually two layers to a floor. There's the subfloor and the finished floor, or the subfloor and what we call the underlayment. And underlayment is something like particle board that it has a very smooth surface that you can fasten linoleum or tile to. So we have underlayment or finished floor, we have the subfloor, but the bottom plate sits on top of the subfloor. The bottom plate is one of the two plates that holds the wall together. You have the bottom plate of the wall and the top plate of the wall up here. The wall and the studs are nailed to the bottom plate, and they're nailed to the top plate. Okay, then we have the studs and the rough windowsill. This is an opening here. From here to here is the window opening. And we have the rough windowsill, and then we have a header above the window. And the header, what the header above the window does is it carries the weight of the roof across that opening. The opening could be small or it could be large. Regardless, we have a header over the window to carry the weight of the roof over the window. The window has a window sill. This is the finished window sill. Then it has the window sash, and the sash is the movable portion of the window. The sash can actually be either fixed, meaning it doesn't move, or movable. Then here is the rafter. We have the rafter and the ceiling joist. This would be the ceiling joist right here. We also can call them, if this is a truss, then we would call this the top chord of the truss and this the bottom chord of the truss. So that's kind of an overview of the section through a modern home.